Would you look at the time? It's time for another video. Good day to you, fellow adventurers through time and space. It is I, the cowardly Timelord, back to Let's Read My Stories, Part 2. Chapter 4. Is electronic crazy? Let's find out. Also, since electronic is me, the answer should be pretty clear. Yes, electronic is crazy. Right before the team got to Vancouver Island, Faster asked Electronic, "Why are we using a boat to get a boat and not our powers to get there?" asked Faster. I know I don't need that, but I just decided on that. Well, what would happen if my powers malfunctioned while we were above the water? Asked Electronic, knowing what was going to come next. Our powers can malfunction? Screamed Faster's Electronic costume. No, only mine can. Can I trust you not to say anything? Asked Electronic, knowing that if there is one thing you can trust Faster with, it is keeping a secret. Yes, Electronic, you can always trust me, said Faster, not knowing why Electronic trusts him with something like that. Good. I would hate to have Think Tank erase your memories like he did with Split and Viz in another timeline, said Electronic, using his knowledge to scare as his eyes glowed gold. Funny. That was a joke, right? Right? Asked Faster nervously. Finally, here we are. Green Ridge Farm, said Electronic happily. Half-dead grass, barn that is partially falling apart, old shed, old broken tractor and truck, old never-used swimming pool. Smells like an old farm, but still, it manages to be a beautiful place that I love to visit, thought Electronic happily. Okay, team, here's what I want you to do. Think Tank, Earth Eater, Lighter, and Hypno. You're on guard duty. Flyer, Flamer, and Faster, you go look for any supplies that might be in nearby areas. Soundbeam, show Krona, Split, Monk Out, and Inviz around the farm. Stunter and Rubber, you're with me, said Electron commandingly but kindly. Rubber, you still have a piano, right? Asked Electron. Yes, but what does that have to do with this post-apocalyptic scenario? Asked Rubber, wondering what Electronic was trying to get at. Now, the funny thing is, the person that Rubber is based off has read this story. They don't mind what I said they were my girlfriend. They didn't actually mind that too much. But they didn't actually know what post-apocalyptic meant, which I thought was odd, but whatever. So that was something I thought about changing, but just because a real-life counterpart doesn't know the word doesn't mean that their character counterpart can't know the word, especially considering I explained to them in real life, so they would know the word, wouldn't they? Kind of. It will all make sense later, said Electronic, while trying to come up with something silly to say. Music sheets, just the thing I was looking for, said Electronic happily. What? Asked Stunter angrily. Are you kidding me, Electronic? Asked Rubber, trying not to get angry. We could have gotten music sheets so much easier, said Stunter, getting into a fit. Why did we come all the way here? Asked Stunter, on the verge of punching Electronic. I want to go out playing an instrument like Toxic Bruce, said Electronic sarcastically. Who is Toxic Bruce? Asked Rubber. Never mind, that was a bad joke and a reference to an anime. The only anime I ever liked. It was about steam trains in outer space. How many people actually know that anime? Comment down below if you know what anime I'm talking about. It's doubtful, said Electronic, trying to smile at his joke while looking at his gold necklace. Right then there was a loud scream from outside. They ran out to find Faster with his leg badly injured. What happened? Asked Electronic worriedly. He came back injured, said Think Tank mockingly. I can see that. Faster, what happened to you? Asked Electronic worriedly as he leaned over close to Faster's face. Purple eyes, as if venom was pouring from them, mumbled Faster crazily. Think Tank, read his mind so he can know what happened to him, said Electronic, worried about what comes next, especially with the mention of purple eyes. Already on it, Electronic. Spardly, that's the only thing on his mind. You knew this was going to happen, but not even you can change the future, said Think Tank sternly. I know, but if Spirely is around here, we are all in danger, not to mention the space-time continuum, said Electronic worriedly. How does this Spirely person put the space-time continuum in danger? Asked Rubber in a scared manner. She is from a future that no longer exists, said Electronic smartly. How is that possible? Asked Rubber curiously. It's all a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff, said Electronic while laughing internally. Well, that explains everything, said Rubber sarcastically. The monsters are coming, coming, yelled Earth Eater enthusiastically. Sorry I'm not putting much enthusiasm into whatever I'm saying. I just want to read this story. You can probably imagine better voices than I'm doing anyways. I know I do pretty cool voices for my other things, but not for this. I know that's kind of confusing, but I do certain things in voices, and you'll see that throughout my stories. Earth Eater, Lighter, Hypno, hold them off. I'll go look for Flamer and Flyer. The rest of you get to the boat. So Electronic commanded, his right eye glowed gold. I put in too many of that glowed gold thing, but it's an important plot point. Yes, sir, said the team. Where could Flamer and Flyer be? Aha! Electronic asked himself as he was flying around with both of his eyes glowing a bright gold. A building on fire and screaming coming from inside? Sounds like a good place to start. Electronic said to himself, coming in for a landing while both his eyes started to glowing a dimmer gold. So, Flamer, how did this happen? Asked Electronic in an annoyed manner, taking off his glasses and rubbing his eyebrows. I thought I saw a spider, so I tried to burn it, and Flyhair's hair caught on fire, said Flamer weakly. There you go, fire's out, said Electronic, not making a deal about it, while both of his eyes glowed gold. How did you do that? Asked Flyer, wondering what Electronic isn't telling them. Why do people keep on asking me questions? Asked Electronic in an annoyed manner, while yet again removing his glasses and rubbing his eyebrows. Well, anyways, thank you for putting out the fire, but my hair is kind of burnt, and I kind of need my hair to use my powers. Ah, said Flyer, trying to change topic, but suddenly getting a shock of pain. Right, your hair sort of instantly regenerates, and it will hurt, said Electronic, still trying to remember all the important information. I wish you had told me sooner, yelled Flyer angrily. Yeah, sorry about that, said Electronic. Why did my hair grow back still dyed purple and black and not its natural brown? Asked Flyer. It probably has something to do with this bizarre version of the world that we are in. That doesn't explain things, said Flyhair. I forgot to say it said Electronic earlier, but whatever. Anyways, I'll explain things better when we get to the others, said Electronic, knowing that he has to tell the group at least some of the truth. Speaking of which, where are the others? Asked Flamer worriedly. I told them to get to the boat, but there are still 3 at the farm. So, Flamer, you get to the boat. Flyer, you get Earth Eater to the boat, and I'll get Hypno to the boat, said Electronic commandingly. So you said there were 3 people at the farm, said Flamer in a confused manner. The other one's Lighter. She can easily fly her way to the boat on her own. So Electronic explaining it as kindly as possible. Finally, back on the boat. You can ask me any question you want, said Electronic somewhat happily. Are there any other people besides the people that want to kill us? I still can't do a proper voice for Flamer. I'm sorry about that. I couldn't even get a proper... There's nobody who could do Flamer's voice properly in my mind except for the person who's based off of him. And perhaps someone else from the Philippines with some sort of speech impediment. I guess that would work, but... Yeah, so just... I can't do a proper voice for that, so... Yes, said Electronic while finding a place to sit. How many? Asked Earth Eater. Sternly. 8, said Electronic while looking at his gold necklace. Why are we going to the locations we are going to? Said Hypno smartly. I can't say anything about that without destroying the space-time continuum, said Electronic, still looking at his gold necklace. Who are those 8 that are on neither side? Asked Rubber smartly. One is my dad, Fighter, powers unknown, the destroyer mutant. One is my stepbrother, Pounder. Powers can smash anything he can catch. One is my half-sister, Healer. Powers healing. 2 of them are my cousins. One of them is Lighter's sister, Time. Powers over time. And one is Lighter's nephew, Space. Powers over space. Not very complicated names for 2 of those characters, right? And one does not exist in any physical form. Her name is Akale. Gender female, powers over reality. Now, I know that seems kind of contradicting. How can a being without a physical form have a gender? It will be explained in due time. Possibly one of the weirdest lines in my whole thing. I mean, I basically said a woman is in control of all reality. Said Electronic while putting his gold necklace away and looking at Rubber's face happily. Electronic, what are up with these outfits? They're designed to enhance our powers, Electronic. So why is yours always changing? Asked Monk Gal. Probably due to a flux in space-time. Electronic. So I'm guessing that my outfit looking just like the drawing I did for what my alter ego costume would look like is just a coincidence? Said Hypno, avoiding the word 5 upper here's her 0 because of copyright reasons. You can figure out what that's supposed to be, but and I know saying that wouldn't get me any problems, so superhero, because of copyright reasons. The word superhero is actually copyrighted. Look it up, it's actually copyrighted. So I couldn't use it in this context. And I never use the word superhero anywhere in my story. Because my characters aren't even really heroes. For the most part, said Electronic. What does that mean? Well, this world was created from my dreams, said Electronic. Electronic, Faster's condition is worsening. There's only one way to heal him. Your half-sister, said Think Tank, pulling Electronic to the side. Think Tank, don't you remember the possible futures where we save Faster? Asked Electronic sternly while his right eye glowed gold and his left eye glowed purple. Ah, yes, the one where I knitted sweaters, the one where you fell off a cliff, and the bunny ray gun. The bunny ray gun, just a ray gun that turns people into bunnies. But as I remember it, the bunny ray gun wasn't all that horrible, said Think Tank, remembering all the fun they had. Yes, but it's too short and doesn't make a very good story. Meta, humor, laugh, applause, said Electronic, being funny while his eyes dimmed. That's true, and just because we don't like the mad scientist doesn't mean we want him turned into a rabbit, said Think Tank, being funny. The pains of seeing all the possible futures at once. The rest of them shall never know our pain, said Electronic, truthfully, while his right eye almost irradiated gold. We are the 3 that started it all. Faster, Electronic, and Think Tank, said Think Tank with a slight smirk on his face. We have to let Faster die to protect the space-time continuum, said Electronic sadly, while his left eye almost radiated purple. Chapter 5, The First Death. After a few days, the team finally reached Anna Cortez. From here on out, no more boat, agreed, asked Electronic, feeling seasick. Agreed, said the team, also feeling seasick. Okay, but how are we going to travel? How about on that bus? Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo! Asked Electronic, while not even looking to see if a bus was there, but just knowing that there was one while his right eye glowed a dim gold. Okay, but how do you know the way? I wrote this story long before Do You Know the Way became a meme, so just ignore this, please. Do not make memes in the comments. As Flamer Weekly, I can get us to my grandparents' house easily, and Sunter, Fire, and Monka, you can get us to their house easily enough, right? Asked Electronic, knowing the answer. Of course we can, said Flyhair, Monkgal, and Stunter, shocked that Electronic even had to ask. Good, then it is settled, said Electronic happily. Okay, here we are at my grandparents' house, said Electronic happily. Monka, you have a violin cleaning kit at your house, right? Asked Electronic while looking in his dad's old closet. Yes, of course, but why? Asked Monkgal in a very confused manner. It'll make sense later, said Electronic, tired of the questions that led him to make that reply. Okay, I'm going to help the rest look for supplies, said Monkgal, walking slowly away from Electronic. Some of the stuff I wrote is more comical for various reasons. Also, I'm sorry I'm not keeping my face centered in face cam very much. Because I have to read my story, so I can't look at the face cam and look at my story at the same time. At all, so... Are you alright, Electronic? Asked Rubber kindly as she slowly approached Electronic and noticed that he was holding back tears. Of course, Rubber, I'm fine. It's just this was my great-grandfather's violin slash fiddle slash bracket fiddle thing, I don't know. And bracket. It's because violin and fiddle don't have much difference. I forget what exactly it was. I'm pretty sure he played it more like a fiddle, though. I should just have said a fiddle and just left it at that. Said Electronic, lying down on his dad's old bed. Hey, I'm lying down on my dad's old bed right now. And pulling out his gold necklace. I'm not wearing a gold necklace. I left that at home. Well, cheer up. I like it when you smile, said Rubber, sitting beside him on the bed. I know, said Electronic, while trying his best to smile. How about we spend the night here, asked Rubber happily. Well, there are plenty of beds, and if there aren't enough beds, they can sleep on the couches if they want. And if the couches are too uncomfortable, they can take a sleeping bag and sleep in the shed. Said Electronic, getting into a fit. Stop, Electronic, I get the point, said Rubber, trying to calm Electronic down. Anyways, Electronic, are we still going to get married as soon as possible after we get back to the normal world? I don't think the real Rubber got this far into the story. And this is where I get kind of creepy. I'm trying to write a romance, but it doesn't exactly work because I don't know romance. I've never had a true girlfriend. As I said last time, I'm a lone and broken man, asked Rubber sweetly. There will never be a normal world, Rubber, said Electronic while thinking, but not saying, where we can get married, and his left eye glowed purple as he thought this. So let's just pretend we are married, said Rubber kindly. Yes, why don't we? And tomorrow we set out for my cousin's house, said Electronic, knowing that there wasn't time to be in love. While also not knowing that someone was spying on them. I can't believe Electronic, said Hypno angrily as her eyes glowed a dark purple. What can't you believe about my cousin? Asked Flyer, not really caring. It's the fact that he plans to get married to Rubber when I was his first love, said Hypno angrily as her eyes glowed an even darker purple. I thought that you got over him long ago. Besides, you weren't his first love. And he has always been a bit of a weird one, said Flyer, not really caring. Besides, you could always just hypnotize him or get someone better. That line was approved by the real Flyhair. By the real life equivalent to Flyhair. So, said Flyer, not really caring, before Hypno could respond. Hypnotizing him wouldn't work. Besides, I want his love to mean something, said Hypno sadly as her eyes returned to their normal brown. After 3.5 hours of travel, the team finally arrived at Electronic's cousin's house. Short one, remember, because Hypno was nowhere to be found that morning. So far, we've met 3 characters whose eyes glow purple. Coincidence? What do you think? Also, I should have mentioned earlier, but Spiderly is not based on a real person. The character Spiderly has been introduced. Totally fake person. Totally imaginary. Off the cuff imagination. Imagination. I need to enunciate more. Even though when I do this it looks weird because it is slightly behind what I am saying. Monk Gal, can you get your violin cleaning kit, please? Asked Electronic sweetly. Yes, of course, said Monk Gal, wondering what is going on with her cousin. Electronic, a group of monsters and fists are on their way here, said Faster, trying to make his injury not a disability. Gah ha ha, I am coming for you, Electronic, yelled Fists angrily and loudly from outside the house and wanting to settle the score. Flyer, you always said you wanted to die in this house. Line approved by the real Flyhair yet again, sadly. Said Electronic jokingly. Yeah, ha ha ha. Yeah, but not like this, said Flyhair seriously. Approved yet again. Well, we could combine our powers to defeat Fisk, except it would mean that Flyhair's death, said Electronic seriously. As long as I kill Fists in the process, I'm fine with it, said Flyhair, being dead serious. Also, anything to get away from you, Flyhair said under her breath. Line not in the original story. Line not in the original story. The real life version of Flyhair asked me to put that line in. Okay, Flyer, start twirling your hair like you're going to fly until you build up a vortex. Then center, transform your fingers into a combustible water-like liquid. Then I will put a charge into it. Then Earth Eater, you put a protective layer of earth around it. Then Lighter, shine your light to make grass grow. Then Flamer, burn the grass. Then we run like hell away from Flyer, said Electronic commandingly as his eyes glowed gold. Electronic, where are you? Yelled Fists angrily. Fist, do you really think you can take us on? Asked Electronic, remembering how this went down in the past. I can overpower you, and I can beat Faster in a race, said Fists, remember when he did just that. That was before we had powers, and only when he was injured. Besides, you may be strong, but you aren't that smart, said Electronic, telling the absolute truth. You're gonna pay for that, yelled Fists angrily. Only if you can catch me, said Electronic, remembering how this went in the past. Ah, yelled Fists in surprise. I can't believe you fell for that again, said Electronic, laughing. Really, you fell for you running around a corner and tripping him again? That is hilarious, said Faster happily. So it is true what they said. He never learned his lesson, said Think Tank cleverly while laughing. I'm sorry to say that Flyhair had to sacrifice her life for the greater good of the team, said Electronic sadly, as his right eye glowed a dim gold and his left eye glowed a dim purple. Anyways, let's continue on to Texas, said Electronic triumphantly as both his eyes glowed a dim gold and then returned to their normal blue. It doesn't make sense, Electronic. Why did Flyhair die? Asked Think Tank, knowing that shouldn't have happened despite what Electronic had said. I don't know. It seems almost it almost seems to go against the space-time continuum, time-space continuum. So Electronic, also surprised that what he said actually happened. I also wonder where Hypno went, said Think Tank, thinking about what had happened some more. Some place where we can't find her, it seems, said Electronic, scanning for Hypno with his mind as both his eyes glowed a dim gold. Is there enough time? I guess there's enough time to read one more chapter. Chapter 6. Traveling in Time in Texas. Okay, it's time to tell you why I grabbed music sheets from the farm, my great-grandfather's violin from my grandparents' house, and asked Monk Gal to get her violin cleaning kit from her house. said Electronic sadly. Well, each of those places meant a lot to me. Each of those things together means I can at least try to play it at his grave. Said Electronic, still not giving the full answer. Thanks to your power, Krana, I can go back in time to a bit before he passed away, said Electronic happily. Of course, we are going to need to be invisible, so Invis, you're coming with us. Rubber, please come with us, said Electronic hopefully. I'll come with you. I guess I've stopped questioning you at this point, said Rubber kindly. Friendswood, Texas. So close to Houston that you can almost see NASA. And smells of wonderful greenery, considering it is in Texas, thought Electronic happily. Here it is, my great-grandfather's grave, said Electronic happily for finding it, sad for what it reminded him of. Arthur Jimmy Clardy, 1910 to 2012. Okay, this should be a good and easy. The dates match up. Sweet. Let's turn back time, said Krana happily. Viz, how are you holding up? Asked Electronic. It is a bit hard to keep us invisible while we are time traveling, so it must be hard to keep us invisible while we are time traveling, said Electronic worriedly. You've got no idea, Electronic, said Viz, straining to keep them invisible. Stop talking while we are time traveling. It's hard enough to focus already, said Krana, trying to stay happy. Good point. We don't want to end up in the Stone Age, said Electronic. I said stop talking, yelled Krana. Here we are, just after St. Patrick's Day in 2012, said Krana happily. Not exactly accurate, is it? That's not exactly accurate to where... At least it's closer to the actual point in the year than previous... I'm going to stop talking because what I'm saying makes no sense. Let's go in and see him. Okay, no, I missed the line. Perfect. His birthday was the day before St. Patrick's Day. Let's go in and see him, said Electronic happily. Arthur Clardy, said Electronic, questioningly. Go away. I don't want any visitors, said Arthur Clardy angrily. Not even for me, your favorite great-grandson that came back from the future to see you? I missed you, old man, said Electronic happily. I missed you too, but I guess this means I'm going to die soon, said Arthur Clardy sadly, and not questioning things. Yes, you are right, said Electronic sadly. Well, I am 102. The end was obviously close. But who is that with you? Asked Arthur Clardy, not bothered by the situation one bit. She is my soon-to-be wife, great-grandfather, said Electronic happily. So you wanted me to see there's hopefully going to be at least one more generation of Clardy. After all, you are my only true great-grandson that carries the family name, said Arthur Clardy happily. Yes, that is why I came to see you, said Electronic happily. Also to get some motivation to keep me going through. Keep me going, though, through what... does also some motivation to keep me going, thought Electronic sadly. Wow, I struggled with that. Well, you can probably have something important to get back to, said Arthur Clardy, keeping his wits about him despite his age. Yes, I do. Well, get to it. A Clardy never wastes time or a good opportunity, said Arthur Clardy demandingly. Let's head back to the future. I have to give an announcement. Back at the camp, right after Electronic, Rubber, and Viz and Chrono went back in time. Ah! Yelled Faster in pain. What is the matter, Faster? Asked Think Tank worriedly. My injured leg is acting up, that's all, said Faster in pain. Everyone be on guard, said Think Tank worriedly. Why? Asked Split nervously. Sorry, that was just interrupted. Spiderly is around here somewhere, said Think Tank sternly. Too late to be on guard, Think Tank, said Spiderly happily as her eyes glowed a mystic purple. Faster, no, yelled Think Tank. Sorry, man. I should have been more careful, said Faster weakly. Bye, suckers. I will kill the rest of you later, said Spiderly. Think Tank, I think she got me too, said Earth Eater weakly. Well, I guess the best thing to do now is to wait for Electron to get back, said Think Tank commandingly and sadly. Think Tank, what happened to Faster and Earth Eater, said Electronic weirdly as his eyes glowed a sad purple. Byrdly attacked us again. She killed Faster and injured Earth Eater. We really need to get to Kentucky now, Electronic, said Think Tank, trying to stay calm. That's just great, but before we deal with that problem, Split and Viz Krana, it's getting too dangerous for you. Head to West Vancouver, you'll find my other cousins there. And Viz and Krana, Split is in charge of getting you there, said Electron Commandly as the right eye glowed gold. Thank you for putting me in charge, but why? Asked Split, confused out of his mind. Well, since Faster is dead, you've become third in command, said Electronic sadly. Who is second in command? You know, just out of curiosity. Split. Think Tank, of course. Who else would it be? Said Electronic sternly. Anyways, I hope to see you later, Electronic, said Split. Anyways, I think that's enough for this time. You get to see the name of the next chapter. Family Matters. Anyways, this is the end of this episode. Until next time, we shall continue reading this story. But until then, this is the Cowardly Time Lord signing off and saying, have a good day, or whatever time it is, wherever you are.